following is an exclusive presentation of Turner Sports.
Boston for the springtime. I'm staying here with some friends and they've got lots of room. Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, my sweet home, Chicago.
Welcome to the NBA on TBS, and yes, the Bulls are certainly one of the best of all time. And tonight, before a sellout crowd at the United Center, it's the Seattle Sonics against the team with the best record in the NBA at 28-3, the Chicago Bulls. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and the Bulls have lost only 3 games. Orlando beat them, and they avenged that defeat. Then the Indiana Pacers defeated Chicago, and then the Bulls avenged that one, and now we'll try to do the same with the other team to beat them, the Seattle Sonics. Working with me, as usual, dapper Chuck Daly. Chuck, the Seattle Sonics now have won 8 out of 9. They have now forged in front, leading the Western Conference. What's been behind their surge this year?
Well, even without Detlef Schrempf, who's injured, Gary Payton, #1 in steals. The big guy, Kemp, rebounding, #1 in the league. Along with that, with George Karl's system, they double team all over the floor, not as much this year, along with the fact that they front the post more than anybody else. On a given night, it's very hard to play them. Teams sometimes solve this problem when they get to the playoffs.
And with Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton, they certainly have 2 of the more exciting players in the league. But let's talk about the Bulls a minute. People say, will they win 70 games? Are they the best team ever? At this juncture, what is your impression of the Chicago?
Well, they're certainly an outstanding club. I mean, the record indicates that, but there's always that injury cloud hanging over your head. But right now, with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, MVP candidates, Tony Kukoc off the bench, and of course Dennis Rodman rebounding and defensively, they are a scourge to the league.
And a very tough test tonight for Seattle because the Bulls remain undefeated at 17-0 here at the United Center. So coming up, it'll be the Bulls and the Sonics, and these teams met in November, and it was the Sonics who had the measure by a 97-92 score. Shawn Kemp scored 25 in that game, and when we return, we'll send you back to our Atlanta studios to Vince Cellini and Dick Versace.
For Orlando, they came back to beat the Magic by 9. After the one to Indiana, they beat the Pacers by 27. After losing to Seattle, I asked Michael Jordan moments ago if it's payback time tonight against the Sonics.
I think what we have to do is, it's not really a payback to them, it's that we have to finish the game on a better note. I think at the time we was in Seattle, we were in control the first half. The second half, I think we just totally collapsed. So I think we've got to put 2 games together here.
With just 28 second-half points, you could say that Chicago was sleepless in Seattle. But as Dick Stockton said, they're well-rested and undefeated at home.
All right, Craig, their last win was Saturday against Milwaukee, but George Karl's team had to defeat the Bucks on the road last night, 97-92. Same score, by the way, that the Sonics beat the Bulls. And this is, of course, after a game Sunday which was snowed out against the Knicks in New York, which will have to be rescheduled. And Phil Jackson just sails along with his team. And while, Chuck, everyone talks about 70 wins, Phil Jackson is very careful to put his foot on the pedal. He says the main thing is to try to win a championship and have something left at the end of that year.
Phil Jackson has been around a long time, and he's got a great demeanor, and he handles the press beautifully. He knows how to provoke the other team, but he's very careful at what he says, and he leads that to his team. His team is very careful, and that's a smart way to go.
Michael Jordan leading the NBA in scoring, averaging 30.3 points a game. 4th in the league in steals. Shawn Kemp averaging 21.3. He leads the Sonics in scoring and rebounding. And Scottie Pippen, as Chuck mentioned, and Jordan and Pippen, you got 2 MVP candidates on one team. Ed Middleton, Terry Durham, and Ronald Lesiak are the officials working this game. Bulls 17-0, so the home undefeated record on the line. Longley and Kemp jump to start it off, controlled by the Sonics.
You talked about the Sonics getting to Milwaukee. They got in there about 2:30 in the afternoon, played last night like the old days. A little bit of a change, but you have to be ready to play in this building against the Bulls.
Perkins shooting over Longley, and the rebound by Dennis Rodman. Kemp leads the league in rebounding, but that's only a matter of time, really, until Rodman plays enough games to collect the numbers. Here's Longley posting up against Perkins. This is not a big team up in the middle, and it is still Chicago's ball.
Yeah, Luke Longley made a terrific move there, was wide open to get to the basket. And that's one of the areas where Seattle wants to attack. They want to attack that center position. It was just the reverse that time.
Pippen, no one picked up Scottie Pippen. He walked in from the baseline to give the Bulls the lead.
And you saw the very problem that the Seattle Sonics have in the playoffs, that's shot blocking. Although they have Kemp and they have Erwin Johnson, they just don't have enough of it patrolling the lane.
Jordan is guarding Payton in the opening matchup. Kemp hits the jumper to tie the game at 2. So with Kemp and Payton, the big 1-2 punch, 2 of the more entertaining players in the league. Jordan working against Hersey Hawkins and hits the jumper from the baseline. So Hersey Hawkins is on Jordan. Jordan on the other side guards Payton. Nate McMillan, a 6'5" forward. This is a lot of quickness on the Seattle team, and the strength may be on the defensive side. Kemp has his shot blocked by Longley, but it drops through anyway.
He was isolated and too quick for any kind of a double team, got into the lane and scored easily.
Ron Harper, who has been scoring well above his average as of late. Jordan setting it up. Kemp is guarding Rodman. That's going to be one of the premier matchups of the night. And stealing. This is what the Sonics do best. Hersey Hawkins to Kemp. 3-on-2 break. Knocked away by Harper. He broke it up. Harper now gives the Bulls a 3-on-2. Michael Jordan the winner. Misses a layup. How often do you see that? Perkins. Under 2 minutes, a little more than 2 minutes gone by, and it's 4-4. Kemp leaves it for Payton, who hits the 3.
A lot of people don't realize that Seattle has beaten Chicago 3 consecutive times, even though one of those times was without Jordan.
And without Rodman, but you got to wonder whether the matchup situation does favor Seattle more often than not. Pippen gets credit for the basket as he gets bumped, and a chance for the 3-point play to tie it up.
Chicago Bulls coming out with good energy tonight. They're taking no chances on what's going to happen in this game. Coming out energy, and here's Pippen. Holds up on the baseline, gets up off balance, but he knows how to use the glass. Gets it up in the box, scores it. Here's that little press Chicago likes to use.
Pippen made the free throw. Foul was on Payton, so we're tied at 7. Nate McMillan guarded by Harper. They're obviously going to Kemp early. Longley was guarding him there, missed his first shot of the game. Scottie Pippen down the middle finds Luke Longley for the basket.
And Longley outrunning the defense down full court. He may be releasing on the shot when Kemp shoots it.
Longley had his career high of 21 against the Sonics in Seattle. Bill Jackson doesn't expect the same numbers tonight because Jordan and Pippen did not have their best games in the Pacific Northwest. Double team on Kemp. Quick pass. Hawkins wide open. And he misses. Hawkins has been shooting the lights out lately. Kemp with the offensive rebound comes through and ties the game at 9.
Just the box out. Gets the easy 2.
Here's Harper getting inside, and the ball knocked away. The Bulls are getting too many easy shots close to the basket.
Thus far they are, but this is the Sonics have the kind of club that can score baskets from a lot of different positions, and they're the kind of club I think can give the Bulls more problems.
What about on the defensive side so far?
Not good. They've got to get back. Pick up.
Well, here's Michael Jordan, who missed a layup, and now he's called for traveling.
He's almost human.
I'm glad you used
almost
the adjective, almost. 9-9 the score, less than 8.5 minutes to play in the first period. Dick Stockton, Chuck Daly, Greg Sager here at the United Center. Longley trying to go over the top against Perkins. Around the screen comes Payton. Knifes his way in. Longley got a piece of it and actually fought off Rodman for the rebound. Here's Pippen. This team is so dangerous, cutting and slashing in the open floor. Longley from outside. Rodman trying to keep it alive. Here come the Sonics trying to take a lead. 9-9 the score. Jordan gets McMillan, and Kemp throws it away. He was looking to go inside to Perkins, and now they rule it was last touched by the Bulls.
One of the problems when you play Seattle is they're not a predictable offensive club. They don't come down and run a lot of set plays. They get into the ability to just play and utilize that, so it makes it tougher defensively.
Hersey Hawkins, tremendous addition to this team. Setting a screen for him is Perkins. A three-point basket is missed, and it comes down into the hands. Rodman and Longley both had it.
Hawkins off to a slow start.
Pippen misses from outside, and he is fouled. And Kemp hit him. First foul on Kemp.
Here's Rodman fighting off Kemp. And then Longley comes from the top. The important thing is to get a body on him and not let him get close to the basket. Even though he's not a 7-footer, he's at 6'10", he dominates the lane. He blocks shots, he rebounds, and he's so strong around the basket. Plays much bigger and much stronger than he actually looks.
Scottie Pippen hits the first free throw. You remember in that first game against the Sonics, Pippen was horrendous. 2 for 11 from the free throw line down the stretch, and that really cost the Bulls in the final analysis that game. He makes only 1 free throw, and Chicago is up by 1, and we have a foul away from the basket, and it's against Luke Longley, his first foul. So always a concern for the Bulls. Longley avoiding foul trouble early.
Well, they go to Wennington, and in that case Perkins was posted up, and Perkins is such a great outside shooter, you don't have to play him quite as aggressively on the box.
So you say go to Wennington. Wennington has had bronchitis, did not practice the other day, but they expect him to play. How healthy he is another question. Hersey Hawkins can't save it. A little helter-skelter on the Sonic side of things.
Yeah, Shawn Kemp has overpassed 2 successive times down the court.
And a timeout with 7:16 remaining in the first quarter. The Bulls lead the Sonics by 1. Sally Field, who's filming the movie Eye for an Eye with Kiefer Sutherland, here in Chicago. Gene Siskel will probably review that film and hopefully give a thumbs up.
Yeah, we saw an earlier shot of it. She's a very good actress. She knows when to quit chomping on a hot dog.
She knew the camera was coming to her. The red light was going to be there, and she says, let me put away the burger. Michael Jordan thus far has scored 2 points, turned the ball over once, but Michael will be there. 10-9, the Bulls lead. They have the ball. Here's Jordan. Double team with Hawkins and Kemp momentarily. 7 on the shot clock, and Pippen goes up, and they're going to call a foul on the strip. And Gary Payton will pick up his second, and he's a little upset about that call.
George Karl's got a very tough decision to make. If he's got 2 already with 6:58 to go in this quarter, picks up his 3rd, he's out for the rest of the half, but evidently he feels confident that he can play and not pick up the 3rd.
Harper looking in for Longley. Perkins doing a good job. Give and go to Jordan. He doesn't miss this time. Michael Jordan with his second basket. 3-point lead for the Bulls. And a steal by Harper. Tips it to Jordan. Blind behind back pass. And Harper with a ridiculous foul that time on Hersey Hawkins.
Personal foul, Ron Harper is first. The team's second.
Here's a set part of the Bulls offense. It's a pinch post. They hit the post, and then the old give and go. Jordan ran it beautifully. A great bounce pass.
I said that was a ridiculous foul because he was just trying to slap at the ball. Kemp misses inside, gets another chance. Left-handed shot misses. Rodman tips it to himself. Bulls lead by 3. They've got the ball. Seattle had a 3-point lead early. And foul is called against the Sonics, and that'll be the first against Nate McMillan. And Coming into the game for the first time is Vincent Askew, who has been terrific off the bench, particularly defensively, as McMillan goes out.
He's an excellent defensive player. He's got great strength. But this game is being called rather close, and there's a lot of reach-in quick fouls here.
Pippen for 3 at the top. Scottie Pippen has scored 9 of the Bulls' 15 points, and he's been their best three-point shooter. At least as far as volume is concerned. Percentage-wise, you have to go to Steve Kerr off the bench. Leaving it inside for Kemp. Tipped away into the hands of Perkins. New clock. With under 6 minutes remaining. Kemp from Askew. And Shawn Kemp now with his 8th point. He has 8 of the Sonics' 11.
Shawn Kemp struggling a little bit. Looks as though he's worried about shot blocking because he's bending his back when he goes up. And they really don't have a shot blocking team, although Rodman is paying very close attention to him.
Well, he got a 6'9" center in Perkins. And no basket. And a foul called against the Bulls. Rodman his first.
Percy Hawkins. Kemp goes up, look at him push off with the left arm, doesn't get called in that occasion. Perkins comes up with a rebound, but he seems to be worried about Rodman's defense.
Kemp goes up. That's his 9th shot already in this game. And the ball knocked away. Last touch by the Sonics, who trail by 4 with 5:22 remaining in the first quarter. Jordan working against Hersey Hawkins, an underrated defensive player. Fall away by Jordan. Perkins clears it.
George Karl talked about it today. He felt when they traded for him, they didn't know he was as good a defensive player as he is.
And that's something you always saw in Hersey Hawkins years back.
Yeah, we've watched him over the years. He used to play for Dick Versace at Bradley. He's always been a good, solid defensive player.
Michael Jordan chalks up his first personal foul, and Vincent Askew will go to the free throw line. 14 fouls for Seattle, 3 for Chicago. And here is Askew, who played for George Karl in the CBA, and he was the MVP in that league for 2 seasons. Not a big team, this Sonic club, but they are scrappy, they hustle, and they play solid defense.
They're an excellent defensive club. In fact, George said today when we talked to him, we're not doing as much double teaming because I feel so strongly that we can pressure people a little bit more individually. They still do front the post. When they'll go down the court, they'll pick their spots to look for their double teams.
And that must cause some problems. As you pointed out, they won 3 straight against the Bulls.
It does cause problems with everybody in the league because you don't have time to prepare for it.
Pippen working against Perkins, spins his way, pulls up, backs it in. Scottie Pippen now with 11 points, off to a sensational start.
And he hit a 3 that was not counted, which would have given him 14.
Low to Kemp, and Kemp travels.
Scottie Pippen going left right here. Gordon with the ball turns back right. Look at that fadeaway. You have to be some kind of an athlete, but you also got to know the class.
Jordan inside. Reverse layup doesn't go. And coming down with it is Askew. Leaves it for Perkins. Perkins will fire up a 3 and hits. Sam Perkins, who, believe it or not, has taken now 129 3-point shots as the center of the team, brings the Sonics to within 1.
35% shooting, but he's so dangerous outside. Probably one of the most dangerous big men in the entire league.
Harper driving the baseline, steps on the line. So the Bulls turn it over to the Sonics with 4:09 remaining in the first. Bill Jackson's Bulls could lose their lead right here.
Bill not happy on that play, wants him to give up the ball, move the ball. They've made some, you know, they played last Saturday. They haven't played now again until tonight. They don't play again till Saturday.
That's pretty good scheduling. Hell, you would have won 70 games if you had that kind of schedule.
Not bad. They'll have to pay along the way, though. Somewhere you got to pay the piper.
Pippen with 11 points. The rest of the Bulls have 6. Scottie hasn't yet missed a shot. And following the air ball by Askew, Bulls with the ball and a 1-point lead. Under 4 minutes remaining, first quarter. Pippen for 3. A little bit too hard off the glass. Kemp with the board. That's his 5th rebound. Averaging a little more than 12 on the year, leading the NBA.
Quick
Long
jumper.
back to beat Perkins.
Quick jumper, great hands.
Perkins goes around Longley and lays it in. Sam Perkins coming on now on a 9-2 Sonics run, in which Perkins has scored 5 of those points. Here's the trap on Harper. Longley tries to get it into Pippen, and it's knocked away by Askew, and you can see the scrappy defensive half court by the Sonics.
Yeah, they went to a quick double team there, then they tried to cut off the passing lane. They adapt better to that than probably any club in the league.
Tell you, they're playing together better than they have in many years. It's a relaxed coach and a relaxed team for the first time in several seasons.
George says we got 6 players under contract, lead contracts, and myself, he said we're all in it together, and they really do seem a lot more relaxed this year.
They're going to make a lot of judgments when the season's over, so why not play together? Wild shot attempt by Perkins. Here's Jordan to Harper. No foul. Longley, however, inside. The Sonics wanted traveling, but instead there'll be a Seattle foul. When we come back, 2:46 to go in a very tight first quarter.
Descriptions or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
Next Wednesday night, Chuck and yours truly will be in the Valley of the Sun, although the sun may be setting on the Suns, who will entertain the Orlando Magic. This is a team that is having big-time problems next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern, against a very tough foe with Shaq and Hardaway.
And Charles Barkley with minor toe surgery and could be out for a period of time, but probably will be back hopefully for that game because they certainly need it.
Tony Kukoc, first off the bench as usual for the Bulls, replaces Ron Harper. Luke Longley on the free throw line. Longley averaging 9 points a game. And 26 minutes. Bill Wennington so far has not come in the game, and we're not sure how much action he'll see as Longley hits the first.
You sense this is the real A-team in Bulls when Tony Kukoc comes in the game, and Phil Jackson, sensing what's going on here tonight, has them in pretty early with this particular group.
Bulls trying to avenge one of their 3 setbacks of the year. They've already got the measure on the Magic and the Pacers. The alley-oop to Kemp, not especially well executed, and the Bulls come down after another turnover. Score is tied at 18. Jordan all the way misses. Bulls get back on defense. Here's Kemp, though. Tapped in. A tip-in by Nate McMillan for his first points of the ball game, and the Sonics with their first lead in a while. Winding down to 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Double team on Jordan. Longley tipped away, and it is still Chicago ball.
You're going to see a lot of double teams on Jordan. They're going to say, Longley, you go ahead and beat us, because he'll find him in the open floor or in the open court. He's going to have to make shots.
Frank Burkowski, who was a physical presence in the team's first meeting and really was an enforcer throwing bodies around, and maybe that's why Phil Jackson counters with Bill Wennington as Longley goes to the bench. So Burkowski, who's been around for 12 years from Penn State, well-traveled, and good man to have on this team.
2 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Jordan misses, gets his own rebound. Triple team. And finally a reach-in foul against the Sonics. And Seattle in the penalty. So 2 shots coming up at the line for Michael Jordan.
Penalty.
Vincent Askew with the personal foul. And here is Jordan. Michael, an 83% free throw shooter.
3 guys were surrounding Michael Jordan right there, all reaching in, making sure he doesn't get a good shot in the basket. He missed a shot, followed a shot, but everyone knows where he is on the floor.
As well they should. His numbers so far. Jordan coming into the game needing 64 points for a career total of 23,000. His number, of course, 23, hits the free throws. And we're tied at 20. Final couple of minutes of the first quarter. McMillan running the show at the point now, and Jordan is guarding Nate. McMillan at 6'5", Jordan at 6'6". Kemp working it against Wennington. The basket will not count. There is a push out and no basket. So the foul before the shot on Bill Wennington. And that is the 4th team foul and the first in the last 2 minutes for the Bulls. Pippen is guarding McMillan. Nate McMillan off the mark. Rebound by Kukoc. Bulls trying to break the tie at 20. Pippen working against Burkowski. Beats them off the dribble, but couldn't make the slam. That's twice tonight. Jordan and Pippen have missed easy shots inside. McMillan leaves it for Hawkins. Sonics passing the ball well and firing and missing. Wild shot out there by McMillan. Burkowski. Hawkins. And Hawkins hits a three. He has been red hot from the field, and the Sonics with a 3-point lead. Pippen foul driving to the basket.
Pippen getting the ball on the wing and quickly takes the basket, which he does so often, particularly in the first half, to make things happen. The Sonics have got to get back, make sure they're matched up, because they're not shooting well as a team right now.
Nonetheless, the Sonics enjoying a 3-point lead over the hometown Bulls as Pippen misses the first free throw.
And George Karl was very happy with them defensively, is not nearly as happy offensively. He said they could be anywhere from a 1 to a 10. Some nights they're beautiful, other nights they're very poor. And I think part of that is because it's not systematized quite as much as other teams, and they get shots from different places on the floor.
So other nights they're downright ugly, let's face it. We can say it.
It's offensively a little ugly tonight, but they've got the lead.
15 on the shot clock. Kemp finds Hawkins. Kukoc out to meet him. And Hawkins in and out. And here comes Scottie Pippen with the Bulls trailing by 2. Jordan on the feed. How pretty was that? Pippen to Jordan. 2 MVP candidates. And now Rodman going at it underneath with Frank Burkowski. And see if a double foul has been called. We'll wait. Technical foul on Burkowski. Remember, we told you in their first meeting, Burkowski throwing bodies all over the court in Seattle.
Here's Pippen taking it end-in, gets it to Jordan, who scores it. Burkowski goes to take the ball out.
I didn't see anything after that layup with Rodman and Burkowski, but something must have happened as Jordan hits the tee.
Good example. Burkowski kind of elbows him up, and he kind of pulls him into him right there. So Dennis leans into him. Dennis knows not to raise his fist or anything, and he gets the technical.
Burkowski says, "You're a blonde. How can I become a blonde?" Give me your secret.
Let's dance.
24-23, the Bulls lead. Nate McMillan goes out top to Hawkins. Chicago matching the fine perimeter passing by the Sonics. Askew hits a three, and the Sonics regain the lead in a seesaw affair here in the first quarter, 26-24. Final seconds of the first quarter. Jordan, a pull away from the corner. It is a 2-point basket to tie it at 26. The crowd going crazy over that one as McMillan, and maybe the Bulls too. McMillan lays it in. And Jordan puts it up. No. But Pippen and Jordan have scored 23 of the Bulls' 26 points. And that is the end of the first quarter with the score. The Bulls and the Sonics, with the Sonics leading 28-26.
You want them? TBS has them. Movies for guys who like movies.
You think I'm staying down?
You want to watch Amazing Grace under pressure? Spins. Here comes the double team. And we have Air Jordan.
That is Air Jordan personified, as Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen combined for 23 of the 26 points that the Bulls scored in the first quarter. Meanwhile, Seattle can boast good balance as 6 different players scored, led by Shawn Kemp with 8.
Seattle out rebounding the Bulls 16-11. Seattle shooting 41%, Chicago 43%.
Jason Caffey, the rookie from Alabama, who is the 20th pick overall, makes an early appearance, starting with Luke Longley, Pippen, Steve Kerr in the game, and Kukoc. So Michael Jordan on the bench. Irvin Johnson out of the University of New Orleans in his 3rd year. The biggest center that this team has. They go into Caffey. Caffey with the hook shot against Irvin Johnson. So they want to go to Jason Caffey, who's 6'8", has got a big body, as the Bulls tie it up.
Irvin Johnson was in a position to block that shot, but he was back so far under the rim, he had no chance.
So we have a lot more big bodies than quicker people out there for both teams as we start the second quarter. Here's McMillan going right around Longley. Finds wide open Payton. He misses the three. And here's Scotty in the open court. Leaves it for Kukoc. Pulls up. Short. Out of bounds. Bulls ball.
Chicago ball.
Tony Kukoc shooting 11 for 40 plus from the three-point line, only 27%.
And it's important, Chuck, that he has intensity, offensively in particular, when he comes into the game. Shooting percentage, Chicago at 44, Seattle at 39%, yet the Sonics had the lead by 2 over Phil Jackson's team. On the turnover on the bad pass, it'll be the Sonics. So Irvin Johnson, who started against Shaq Friday night in Orlando, that one didn't turn out to be a good idea.
No, they went to 38 points by the end of the game. Early on, scored the first 3 times down the floor. Gary Payton walked over to George Karl and says, I don't think this is going to work.
He was right. Brakowski with the turnaround left-hander gets his first points of the game to give the Sonics the 2-point lead once again.
The Sonics are a freewheeling team, and when they have a little bit more patience, they really do a good job offensively. I think that's an area that they really need to work on, a little bit more patience. I'm talking minute.
Technical foul has been called on Luke Longley, who was called with his second personal, and then the tee by Ed Middleton.
Here's Longley waiting in for the post-up, push off with the left hand. He does not like the call, but Eddie Middleton says, you fouled him, and then he complains, gets a technical.
Vincent Askew will shoot the technical. And the Sonics lead 31-29. And Dickie Simpkins has checked into the game for the Bulls. He started the first 12 games with Rodman out with a calf injury. And so once again, we've got some big people in there. Longley goes out, but Simpkins, Caffey. Not a lot of height really for the Bulls now.
Well, they don't need it particularly against this club because Irvin Johnson.
Askew hits the jumper.
You know, you watch the Seattle Supersonics, you say, how could they ever get eliminated in the first round? And yet, 2 successive years, they're my dark horse to come out of the West this year.
Well, you know, the Lakers have had their number, and the matchup hasn't worked. Kukoc is fouled. There was a tripping foul.
He was a little out of control, but it ended up being some call had to be made.
And a bad one, because that's the third on Gary Payton. So you said a few moments ago, Chuck, that Payton said I can hang in there, not pick up 3. He has. Out he goes. So a valuable member of the Sonics is out of there, and replacing him is David Wingate.
Yeah, that's a difficult one and makes it very tough for the Sonics because he's so important to them in so many ways. So he's going to have to sit out the rest of this half.
Knocking it away on the pass from Pippen inside was Brakowski. And now it's picked up again by the Bulls. Little sloppy play at midcourt by both sides. Kukoc, big height advantage, and Askew got a hand in the way. But he is a pesky defender out there. Pippen, good for the 3, his second from downtown, and the Bulls trail 33-31. Brakowski working against the rookie Caffey, and the foul called against Caffey.
Sean Kemp sat out a long time, and in talking to George today, he said their team is a lot happier because they've got guaranteed minutes for a couple of people.
He didn't use much of his bench last night in the win over the Bucks, 97-92. Sonics have won 8 of their last 9 games. Right now, the best record in the Western Conference at 23-9. Brakowski posting up again against Caffey. Short with the shot. Nate McMillan keeps it alive. Wingate from outside hits. David Wingate, known for his defensive play, but he'll hit the open shot, and it's a 4-point Sonics lead.
Coach George Karl can buy some minutes for Sean Kemp right now because he's got the lead and can play him a full second half if he needs it. Other clubs have tried that, though, in this building and have come up short at this period in the game.
Kukoc controlling, goes in low to Caffey. Caffey working against Askew. He had the post-up advantage over Vincent Askew, and Dickie Simpkins with the basket. 35-33. So Kemp and Payton both on the bench right now, and the Sonics with a 2-point lead playing without their biggest stars. And an offensive foul has been called against Askew, his second. George Karl, a lot more relaxed. He told us today, I'm not in their faces as much as I've been. I guess that's experience as a head coach.
Yeah, and he's been around. You know, he's been in Real Madrid. He's been in. There's a steal.
And here's Wingate with Kukoc on his back. Misses the layup. Tip-in is missed by McMillan. Yeah, he's been all over George Karl, who played his college ball in North Carolina.
Been at the CBA, Real Madrid, Cleveland, been a lot of places. Very successful. Golden State struggled in some places. Big winner here in Seattle.
Pippen blocking Askew and doing a good job of preventing his progress. 11 on the shot clock. Rakowski working again against Cappy, and they got Cappy with his second personal.
Interesting matchup. Both of them are having problems with each other on opposite ends of the floor. Cappy scored already 2 field goals, but now they're going to take it to him.
You know, it's interesting. George Karl and Chuck Daly, both their first NBA coaching assignments with Cleveland Cavaliers.
True, and both from Western PA.
That's right. You from Kane, he from Pittsburgh area. Rakowski turnaround baseline, throws up the air ball. And Kerr comes down with it. The crowd is looking at Rakowski as a villain in this game. Pippen misses a 3. Coming out of the pack is Nate McMillan. He's got Wingate on one wing. Askew trying to drive the middle. And Irvin Johnson with a turnaround. So Irvin Johnson from the University of New Orleans.
Very active offensive rebounding club, and it's kept them in the lead.
4-point lead, tipped out of bounds, last touch by the Sonics.
Askew going to the basket, doesn't score, it comes up short. Johnson, big rebound, puts it back up.
Kukoc posting up against Wingate with a huge height advantage, and Wingate gets his hand on the ball out of bounds.
Twice in succession, they've done a good job of getting their hand on the ball and stripped the Chicago Bulls players, and no call by the officials, which I like. Good defensive play.
Look at the bench scoring so far tonight. 13-7 from Askew, so the Sonics staying alive with their bench play. Kukoc with a neat move inside. Tony Kukoc, his first points of the game, and the Sonics lead is 2. Remember, Payton and Kemp, the big 1-2 punch, not in there for the Sonics. They're trying to keep their heads above water without their 2 biggest stars, and so far they've succeeded. Wingate knocks it out of bounds on the alley-oop to Simpkins, but Tony Kukoc, who the Bulls need so badly, the 3rd leading scorer, with a move to the hoop. Timeout with 6:45 remaining in the first half. Good one going here at the United Center with the Sonics leading 37-35 with 6:45 to go. And Visa leaderboard, let's take a look at tonight's Visa leaderboard. The top rebounders, Sean Kemp, averaging a little over 12 rebounds. Robinson, Mutombo, Olajuwon, and Charles Barkley, who's out with injury. And here's the story tonight, Chuck.
Now, Seattle 8 offensive rebounds, 19 total. Chicago 3 and 13. Seattle out rebounding them. Particularly on the offensive board.
Oh, it's kept them going in the game.
Yeah, really.
Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman back in the game for the Bulls, but no sign yet of Gary Payton or Sean Kemp. Steve Kerr coming in as the 5th leading NBA three-point shooter. Hits one and is with 6.5 to go in this first half. Sonics won the previous meeting, and the Bulls trying to avenge the 3rd of the 3 teams that defeated them so far this year. Rakowski in the lane, and the Sonics with a 1-point lead. Biggest leads tonight. Seattle had a 5-point lead in the second quarter, and Chicago's biggest lead has been 6 early on. Jordan, Rakowski with a good blockout on Rodman with a rebound. Askew seeing a lot of action off the bench in his first half.
Well, Gary Payton being in foul trouble is a big reason for that.
Askew shooting short. Kukoc with a rebound.
they've been so successful going inside. Burkowski is really doing a good job offensively against Dennis Rodman. I'm surprised that they're not taking more advantage of it.
Well, Nate McMillan's not going to let Kerr get off the three-point shot, playing him a lot closer. Kukoc with a spin move inside, follow up by Rodman. Rodman with his first points of the game, coming in averaging 5.5. And the Bulls regain the lead by 1. Back and forth they go in this tight talk first half here at the United Center. We've had 8 lead changes and 9 ties. McMillan with 6 on the clock. Defended by Kerr. Lost the ball. Now he has to force it. Good defense by Kerr. Dribbled it a little too long.
We got Kemp, we got Hersey Hawkins, and we've got Perkins sitting. Oh, they can't get back in the game as they've been sitting over a minute and a half.
They have not had
That's a factor
to play. Right?
Exactly.
Kerr with the turnaround, and the Bulls lead by 3. Well, the Sonics want to get their top people back in.
They might think seriously about taking 20 if this continues the way it's going.
Burkowski throws a brick. Jordan stops and misses, and the rebound by Irvin Johnson.
Here it is. Going to get a 20, I think, right here. Or a timeout. One of the two.
You called it, Chuck. You've been on the sidelines. When you can't get your people in and there's no dead ball, you got to create one. So this is a timeout, a full timeout, and the Bulls lead by 3. Sean Kemp coming back in the game along with Sam Perkins and Hersey Hawkins. And it's been a while since they've been on the bench, and now they come back in to try to stop a surge by the Bulls.
It's almost an inadvertent long time because they sat there well over a minute and a half, and they've been sitting there a long time. And this, in previous games we've done with the Bulls, the same thing has happened. The opposition comes in with their key people off the bench, and they can't respond. They come in a little bit flat. Let's see what happens here with the Sonics.
Bulls with a 9-2 run. Kemp went out at the start of the quarter. That's a long time as we wind down to 4 minutes remaining in the half. Kemp working against Rodman. There's a big matchup, and they'll call Rodman with the pushing foul. And Sean Kemp, a 70% free throw shooter, will go to the line.
Here's Rodman, one of the best defensive players in the league. Sean Kemp, look at the bangs into him, wheels, keeps his body under control, doesn't score the basket, but gets to the line. He will give him problems if you don't double.
Kemp hits the first free throw. Sean Kemp, a tremendous talent who did not attend college, went to Trinity Junior College, but basically came out of high school to join the pros, and an exciting player who is amongst the league leaders in so many categories. There's the three-quarter trap as the Bulls lead is cut to 1. Simpkins with Kerr, Pippen, Jordan, and Rodman for the Bulls. 8 on the clock. They got Wingate guarding Jordan. That's a good matchup for Seattle, good as they can want. And no basket. Foul before the shot, and Wingate with the push. That's only the second team foul against the Sonics.
Watch this trap. They get into the trap. They slow the clock down. That ball comes around to Jordan where he got fouled. It was about 4 seconds on the clock right here. And that's exactly what they want to do, is eat seconds off the clock.
Jordan with a turnaround. Michael Jordan not having the best shooting night so far. Only 5 for 13 from the field. But he has 13 points and is the high scorer in this game. Bulls by 3. Jordan guarding Wingate. Trying to anticipate the pass. McMillan in the corner has Pippen. Tough play for McMillan. He's giving up about 4 inches to Pippen, who got the ball away. Now has it from Rodman. Jordan working against Hersey Hawkins. Another fall away. That's been his favorite shot today. Michael Jordan with 15 now.
Sonics can't get on track, and they've got a 5-point deficit right here that they've got to try to make up, get back in the game.
How often have we seen this season?
Every time we've been in this building, which is now 4.
There's the shooting story. Seattle cold. The Bulls are hot at 9 for 14. Kemp has his shot deflected by Simpkins. And a whistle and a Chicago foul. Simpkins made a good play on the first effort. But Simpkins with the personal foul.
Here comes Gary Payton. No, I'm sorry. That's Askew coming back in there. I thought it was Payton. I thought, boy, what a high-risk move that is.
Well, you know, Payton went out with 3 fouls. The Sonics were leading by 5. Now, Seattle trailing by 5 points. So it's been a 10-point swing with Gary Payton on the bench with 3. 3-point basket. They call it a 2 as Hersey Hawkins had his foot on the line. So it's 46-43, the Bulls.
Good call by George Karl. They went to a set play. Got Hersey Hawkins coming off a double on the baseline.
Kerr picked up by McMillan. Jordan inside. Pippen has it knocked away. Good defensive play. Bart Perkins, I believe.
Seattle very pesky with the hands.
They're a fun team to watch if you like defensive play. Who doesn't? Double team on Kemp. Askew passed it up to McMillan. And Perkins, rarely do you see someone out jumping Rodman for a rebound. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. The lead is 3 for Chicago. Spinning his way in is Askew, and now a 1-point game. Vincent Askew, who has 10 points. So the Bulls opened up a lead and now saw the 5-point lead cut to 1. Sonics coming back. Minute and a half to play. First half. Steve Kerr fires it up. Wild shot. Not a good idea by Kerr.
Well, they forced him baseline. He was going to try to get to a screen and roll. They forced him baseline, and he's a standstill shooter. He's not good on the move. That's not his game.
They're looking for Kemp, posting up against Simpkins. Leaves it for a wide open Hersey Hawkins. And George Karl expects Hawkins to hit that one. Pippen back. So it's a great move on Askew. What a great look on Askew. Totally faked him out. And Scottie Pippen now with 17 points. Bulls by 3. Kemp again leaves it for Perkins. So the Sonics relying too much on the 3-point shot here.
Kemp's giving great kick-out passes to the wing and wide open shots, but they're not delivering.
37 seconds to go in a half. 11 on the shot clock. 3-point lead for the Bulls. Kerr with a runner hits, and the lead again is 5. 7 points off the bench for Steve Kerr of the Bulls.
Sonics are 4 for 13 from 3-point land, and that's not good enough.
About a 5-second differential between the game clock that you see and the shot clock. 50-45, the Bulls lead. Leave it out for Askew. Passes up the 3, slapped away by Jordan. And the 4th shot by Askew. Simpkins got the rebound. And here comes Pippen. And he's fouled. The Seattle Sonics totally disintegrated offensively down the stretch, and the Bulls have made him pay as McMillan picks up his 3rd personal foul. Want to remind you, coming up on the Reebok halftime report, Vince Cellini and Dick Versace will have the scores and highlights from around the league, and that's all coming up on the Reebok halftime report. Pippen. And a chance to give the Bulls their biggest lead of the game if he connects here. Kukoc has come in for Simpkins, who played well in the time he was in there coming off the bench. Simpson scored only 2 points, but stood his ground defensively. Pippen makes only 1. And if it goes, it'll count, but it doesn't, and that'll do it as the Bulls tease the Sonics somewhat. And at the end of the first half, Pippen with 18, leading scorer for the Bulls and in the game. The Bulls lead the Sonics 51-45.
For 2 brothers on
Payton, of course, got into foul trouble, as Chuck pointed out, and 13 points combined for Kemp and Payton. But Chuck, George Karl's got a good point. He's down by only 6 with all of that.
Yeah, he's got to be happy in reality, because with the 2 key guys playing like they are, and perhaps they'll play better and get some help. Their outside shooting was very suspect, particularly in the second quarter.
Their starting 5 has a total of only 27 points. So anyway, here we go for the start of the 3rd quarter. David Wingate will be in that starting lineup defensively for the Sonics, along with the Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp, Perkins, and this is a play that the Bulls have used so many times. Mike Michael Jordan on the reverse layup in the open floor.
Well, they had that particularly set up because of the pressure by the Sonics. It was a simple, old-fashioned backdoor.
Hersey Hawkins looking down low for Shawn Kemp, guarded by Rodman. Wingate with the pump fake, nothing there. 4 on the shot clock. Perkins has it blocked by Pippen. Gets the rebound. Wild hook at the buzzer. Here's the pass to Pippen. And the foul by Perkins before the shot.
And George was right on about the energy level. He talked about it. He thought they were running out of gas in the first half, and they're not coming out energized here in the second half. And the Bulls look like they really want to take it to them.
Same 5 that started the game. Jordan, Harper, Rodman, Longley, and Pippen. Rodman working against Kemp. Leaves it for Pippen. Longley and Perkins matched up. Luke Longley went baseline, threw up a wide drive. Sonics trailing 53-45. Biggest lead of the game right here for the Bulls. Trying to make it 29-3 on the year. Wingate missed the 3. Loose ball, and Jordan outfights Wingate. Second rebound.
George did what he does so often. He changed the lineup a little bit.
Longley out high. Good pass to Harper. Rodman cleans up inside. He had inside position on Shawn Kemp. And Rodman now with his second basket. And a 10-point lead for the Bulls. And the Sonics don't want to get run over by the express train right here in the third quarter. Looking that way right now as Kemp misses. Jordan coming out. That's what the old Celtics used to do. They used to bury in the third quarter. Scottie Pippen for 3. That's his third from downtown. 21 points. Timeout called by the Sonics.
TBS NBA Wednesday is brought to you by Pep Boys.
Making his presence known. Wades in the lane, gets his back on Kemp, gets the inside position, puts it back up, which he does so well. And here's a transition 3. Jordan, Pippen squares up, comes to a stop, nails it.
21 points for Scottie Pippen as the Bulls come out with a 7-0 run to start out this third quarter.
Seattle 3-point free throws, or the field goal shooting, 4 for 15. Chicago 4 for 6.
Gary Payton defended by Jordan. Pippen out to meet Wingate, knocks the ball away. And this is a devastating team the Bulls are, and of course you know about all the other great teams in the history of the NBA. The Bulls want to take position along with them. Wingate fires it up with 1 second. The Bulls just smothered the Sonics on that possession. Ron Harper looking for Pippen inside. Longley finds Pippen. Made that extra pass he didn't have to do, but the interception by Rodman. And Rodman puts it up. Rodman with 6 points. 60-45, and a 9-0 run to start the second half. Kemp and Wingate. Right now the Sonics just forcing up shots, not running their offense, and we're going to see the bench come into the play as McMillan and Askew shortly will come in for George Karl.
One of the problems is they're going to Kemp inside, and they're coming very quickly with a double team, not giving him any room to do anything offensively.
Hawkins goes by Pippen. Rebound by Jordan. Bulls are the Sonics 0 for 7 from the field here in the second half. Pippen hits another one from downtown. He's got 4 and 24 in the game. And Scottie Pippen, number 2 for 11 from the line in that loss at Seattle. Different guy tonight. Payton hits a 3. So Payton hits his second from downtown. Only 6 points for Gary Payton, who came in averaging over 18. Bulls still with a healthy 63-48 advantage. Longley has it knocked away by Wingate. Perkins to Wingate. And there's some of the scrappy defensive play that the Sonics rely on. David Wingate with the basket. Pull the lead down to 13. Pippen. Longley traveled McMillan into the game for Seattle.
Georgia's going to get some infusion of offense here. Seattle 2 for 9, Chicago 5 for 7. Not good enough. You can't go into those long periods of drought. We talked to George about today. We've seen him enough now. Say you've got to learn how to score against his Bull Clubs if you want to stay in the game, particularly in this building.
Of course, 2 of those downtown baskets by Scottie Pippen here in this third quarter, kicked away by Jordan. Last touch by Jordan, so it is not a backcourt violation. Payton goes in, and they're going to call goaltending against Longley, and Payton will get credit for the basket.
Payton's got to take over a little bit here. He does that. Jordan's giving him a difficult time. He gets by him on this time, and there's the goaltend. But Payton's got to make something happen to this club offensively if they're going to get back in the game.
They've got time, however. 7:15 to go in the third. Double team on Scottie Pippen with Perkins and McMillan. Jordan working against Askew. Basket counts and a foul. Michael Jordan with 19 points. Pippen, Jordan. Healthy 1-2 combo in this game.
Here he is facing, goes right, gets body under, can fade away, probably as good or better than anybody in the league. Nails it from behind the backboard.
Vincent Askew looked like he was giving him the baseline on that maneuver as Jordan completes the three-point play.
You can't let him go right. You at least got to make him. He can go left, but I think he's less dangerous going left.
66-52, the Bulls lead the Sonics. Just under 7 minutes to go in the third. It's been all Bulls here in the second half. Going to make it 18-0 here at the United Center. Kemp, triple team now. Line drive shot misses. They've totally bottled up Kemp, and they're going to call traveling on Dennis Rodman.
Dennis is doing a little ballet, saying, I didn't have control of it. How could I walk with it?
He is the Bull Barishnikov now.
What happened? He didn't get control of the ball. He saw a streaking player down court, Scottie Pippen.
Perkins misses from downtown. Rodman had it, lost it. Kemp with a one-hander, and the basket counts and a foul. Shawn Kemp, who had missed 9 of his last 10 shots, has a chance to complete a three-point play and bring the Sonics down to within 11.
The Sonics are not getting good shots. They've got to work harder for good shots, go to more set plays. Haven't seen much of a pick-and-roll game, which is pretty tough to handle. And one thing that's happening, Michael Jordan is really working to take Payton out of the game.
Shawn Kemp, who started for the West All-Stars the last 2 years. Only 12 points, but he has 11 rebounds. Misses the rebound. Perkins lays it in, and now they have it down to 10, 66-56. By the way, the last foul on the Bulls was Rodman's third. And now Chicago wants a timeout. So Seattle has come back with an 11-2 run of their own. Bulls lead the Sonics by 10. Want to remind you that the NBA continues Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT as the Dallas Mavericks take on the Phoenix Suns. That's this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT.
Here's Dennis Rodman. He gets the rebound, starts out, he looks up floor, sees Jordan, loses control of it, kind of tippy-toes around, gets called for a walk.
Ron Harper with the lay-in. 68-56, 12-point lead nearly halfway through this third quarter. McMillan lost it off of his foot.
And the Sonics are struggling because they're giving the Bulls very easy basket, layup-type shots that they didn't do in the first half.
Bulls started off the second half with a 12-0 run. Seattle came back with an 11-2 run of their own, and now the Bulls have steadied. Leading by 12. Jordan misses the three. Pippen keeping it alive, and the foul against the Sonics. That'll be their third team foul. And it'll be the fourth against Askew. So Askew has 4. Payton and McMillan each with 3 for the Sonics. Rodman the only Bull with 3 fouls. Longley playing at the top. Trying to get position, setting a screen for Jordan. Jordan lays it in. Changed hands. Michael now with 22. 46 of the 70 points for the Bulls have come from Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Jordan comes down with the rebound. He has 11 rebounds in the game. Jordan averaging nearly 6 on the season. And a shooting foul will send Jordan to the line. He's having an exhilarating time of it tonight, Chuck.
He's got a lot of energy, and he's really attacking in the second half. And he's playing great defense on Payton. But that time he got Askew. This came down. He got hit pretty hard on the play. Bending over, as you see there. I don't know exactly. It's not a shooting foul.
5 personal fouls, however, on Askew. One more in He's history. Perkins and Jordan, who were teammates at the University of North Carolina, won an NCAA championship, guarding each other for the moment. Longley with a fine feed inside to Rodman. Longley has 5 assists tonight.
And Rodman all of a sudden is becoming an offensive force, finding his way in this offense to get free, particularly along the baseline.
8 points for Rodman, not doing the job as he normally does off the glass, but he's scoring the points. And Kemp hits from the perimeter. 14 points for Shawn Kemp, who leads the Sonics.
He had to go outside to get that one because he's not going to get much daylight inside.
Longley playing an active game. Going in, has foul. Kemp hits it. It's a second on Shawn Kemp. And that will send Luke Longley to the line as the Sonics are over the limit. Now let's take a look at tonight's Chevy scoreboard. Sacramento leading Boston. Kings trying to come back from a loss. Nets lead the Knicks 86-79 in the fourth quarter. The 76ers and the Bullets are all tied at 81 in the fourth quarter at the Spectrum. San Antonio way in front of Cleveland 42-29. Cleveland, one of the great stories of the year. And for all the scores and highlights, tune to CNN Sports tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern with Nick Charles and Darren Kagan. 2 free throws by Longley. 16-point lead for the Bulls.
All of the games we've done have been pretty much the same. The last 3 games in particular, New York was a little bit different. Get to that 4-minute mark in the second quarter.
Kemp traveled trying to work around Rodman. That's the 4th turnover by Shawn Kemp. It's one of those nights for George Karl, but that's what happens when you come into the United Center. No one has been able to beat the Chicago Bulls here all year. In fact, their winning streak dates back last year to 24 games. Longley setting a pick for Pippen. Perkins is on Scottie with 8 on the shot clock. Double team on Pippen. Harper bumps Payton. And Perkins winds up with it. With 3:40 remaining in the third quarter. Sam Perkins working inside. Ricocheting hard off of the glass. Some of the Bulls got a piece of it. Jordan has it rejected inside by Shawn Kemp. No, couldn't happen. It was McMillan. Kemp was waiting at the other end. He's not that good. And Ron Harper committing the foul on Shawn Kemp.
Here's the first part of the play. Block. McMillan, he kicks it out. Kemp had not come down the floor. It was up. Longley says, we're not going to get that off.
Shawn Kemp hits the first free throw. Frank Burkowski set to come back in, as is Tony Kukoc for the Bulls. Perkins goes out of the game. Sam, the starting center, has scored 7. Jordan will sit down. There's Perkins leading the game with 7 points. And Jordan going out with 22. Pippen leads the Bulls with 24.
I don't know if the Sonics have enough energy or inclination to get back in this game. They have enough weapons to do that, but they're going to have to do more of it on the defensive end. They're going to have to get some stops. Jordan out of there right now might be the time to try to make a move if they can control Pippen.
Remember Detlef Schrempf, who was the second leading three-point shooter on the team, second leading scorer. Harper with a feed from Pippen not playing. And of course, last week we had Houston here, and the Rockets didn't have Clyde Drexler.
The other problem that the Sonics have, because they double team so much, the Bulls spread the floor offensively, and they find a lot of seams, which they've done all night, for easy baskets.
Hawkins, Kukoc got a hand in it, turns it over. Good play by Tony Kukoc. Crowd being entertained now by some dazzling defensive style and passing by the Bulls. Opened up 76-60 lead. Biggest lead is for 18. They're 2 away from that. 3 on the shot clock. Kukoc and Pippen can't hold on. The Bulls waited a long time to set up the shot they wanted.
The important thing for the Sonics to get down. Let's get some good shots. Let's not just take wild shots. Let's get good shots.
And you know, even with the lead, you see Pippen coming down, yelling at Tony Kukoc. This team's a perfectionist kind of team. We have a foul away from the ball.
Offensive.
No offensive foul. Yes.
Legal kick out of bounds. Violation. Chicago ball.
Illegal pick is the call. No foul. %37% for the Sonics. The Bulls 20% higher than they are, 57. 8 on the shot clock. Kukoc has it knocked away by McMillan with a new clock. And let's see if they adjust the clock. 4 seconds, not 24, should be on the shot clock. 1:52 remaining in the third quarter. Pippen on the pass from Kukoc. And a loose ball foul against the Bulls.
Loose ball foul the Bulls.
It'll be against Tony Kukoc, his first.
The team's first in the last 2 minutes.
The Sonics offense really leaving them out the cold this evening. Outside
points.
shooting.
Scored 17 in the second, only 15 so far here in the third.
This is a new look. They've isolated Payton on the box where he could become a passer or an operator down there, but somebody else has got to make the shot.
Murkowski missed from perimeter, and Kukoc comes down with it. Under a minute and a half to go in the third quarter. High post is Longley. On the switch, Kemp picks up Harper. Mismatch somewhere. It's McMillan against Longley. There's the quickness. And Gary Payton on the other end. Nowhere to go. Rush the shot.
They had a wide open man on the other side.
And Pippen burns it for 3. You can put those last 2 plays in a capsule.
Scottie Pippen shooting 42% from the three-point line.
And 5 for 7 tonight from downtown. 27 points for Scottie Pippen. Dennis Rodman.
The Bulls personal foul. Dennis Rodman
With his fourth personal foul.
Very upset at the play because he thought he had great position. And he's going to argue with Ron Alesiak and say, hey, I was clean on that one.
He argued too much. Technical foul called against Rodman.
Here's working. He's got his forearm up under Kemp's arm. That's probably where the call was made, although the official was on the outside.
Hersey Hawkins will shoot the technical. Biggest lead right now for the Bulls, 19 points, as Hawkins makes the first one. And
Technical foul.
technical foul, and Rodman is gone.
He's gone.
Rodman is second. And ejected.
I think it's the first time this year that Dennis Rodman, and now he's being restrained by Longley.
Somebody better get out.
The Bulls have not seen Dennis Rodman like this since he's joined the club. He is kind of, well, he has fit in with the team, but he's kept some of his antics under wraps. Not so tonight.
Well, he's a fiery competitor. He did not like the call.
He threw his uniform shirt into the stands and runs out of the United Center to the cheers of the crowds. He always leaves the crowd with his uniform shirt, but never when he is as angry as he is now.
That gets expensive, I have a feeling.
So Hawkins will shoot the second technical.
It was interesting to watch Phil Jackson on that particular episode there. He just sat there, kind of took it all in. Normally the head coach comes out and tries to solve the problem a little bit. He sat there, let Dennis handle the situation. I think he wants to know more about Dennis, how he's going to react for a future reference.
As you know, Jerry Krause and Phil Jackson took a gamble in making the trade for Will Perdue because they knew they were getting a great rebounder and defender. They didn't know what the ancillary effects would be.
So far, so good. One episode, and this was, you know, he had a legitimate gripe in his mind and said, and then he didn't like, he got the technical, then he went after him again and got the second technical.
And you're right, one episode doesn't change what has been a great relationship between Rodman and the Bulls. You know, they're not close off the court. Make no mistake about it. They don't pal around with him. He kind of keeps to himself, but they respect what he does on the floor. He obviously likes being with a team as good as the Bulls are. 36.5 remaining, 9 on the shot clock in the third quarter. Loose ball batted around. Burkowski winds up with it. McMillan passes it up. Longley way out to meet Hawkins.
Now you got the Sonics being hesitant and going to set offense, which makes it very difficult to score.
Double team on Kemp, too far under the basket, and Harper with a hard foul on Nate McMillan.
I thought it was outside the three-point line, but it was inside. If they're going to get back in the game, they've got to make these free throws. Kemp just missed one, but they need to make them when they get them. It's the only way they've been able to score. Kemp can't even get a shot off at this point because they're really coming after him.
Harper's third foul, and Nate McMillan, a 67% free throw shooter, one of the low free throw shooters on the team. His team knows how to shoot it. Steve Kerr will replace Ron Harper in the Bulls lineup. And it seems every week we see a team creep back like they do right now. Houston did it last week. Only you see their hopes snuffed out, but they're making a run now.
They're making a little bit of a run, and they've got to get some stops at this point.
79-65, final seconds of the third quarter. Michael Jordan with a circus shot.
With about 3 guys running him down. That is definitely a highlight.
That is the shot of the night. And we've had a few.
Coming down. He's going to go left all the way. Here he goes. One man. Here comes the second guy. Third guy on the wing. Turns back to his right. Whips it out of the holster on the right side.
But look how close Jordan was to the baseline to be able to kiss it off the glass with that kind of a touch and have the ball go through. And now a chance for his 25th point. A terrific all-around game for Michael Jordan. And the Bulls lead 82-65.
They lost to Rodman and gained to Jordan.
Yes, they did. Hawkins with a runner. Does it go? So Pippen and Jordan have scored 52 between them tonight. But the story here in the third quarter, Dennis Rodman picking up 2 technicals and ejection. Leaves the floor in a flash. But the Bulls with a huge lead as we go to the fourth.
Kevin!
Start the fourth quarter here at the United Center. And don't the Bulls tease you enough? First quarter, the Sonics led by 2. They give them a little run. But the third quarter, 31-20, the Bulls outscore the Sonics and have a big lead.
In every game we've been in here, which is 4 now, the exact same things happen. They do it defensively, easily, perhaps the best. They are the best defensive team, I think, in the league.
Michael Jordan put on a show tonight with some spectacular shots, 25 points. Look at the shooting, more than double in the third quarter. Well, what the Sonics have, 60% for Chicago and 3 3-point baskets by Pippen.
And they've got some people who aren't great individual defensive players, but they feed off the other people, the Pippins and the Jordans and the Rodmans, who are so good that everybody else picks up their defense and makes it so difficult for the opposition to score.
It's exactly what they do, the best kind of team defense you'd want. Dickie Simpkins in the lineup as we start the fourth, along with Kukoc, Rodman, Jordan, and Kerr, and it's Luke Longley. Great and quick passing by the Bulls. On the other end, Mercy Hawkins with the reverse layup. So Jordan normally sits down between the end of the third, start of the fourth quarters, and this gives you the feeling that he's not going to be in there that long here in the fourth. Jordan in and out. Kukoc with the offensive board.
And he'll stay until they're sure that this is put away. They had a 20-plus point lead in Seattle in the first half and ended up losing the game.
Longley had it stripped away by Kemp. Payton to Burkowski with a layup. Kemp not a factor in this game, or Payton I should say, with 8 points, picked up 3 fouls in the first half and really didn't materialize.
And Kemp has not been a factor in the second half. They have taken all of his shots away, double, almost triple teaming him, giving him nothing on the box. The only basket is outside.
Good double team on Simpkins, forces another turnover. Payton leaves it for Hersey Hawkins. Kemp on the other side. Here's McMillan for 3 and hits it. Nate McMillan from downtown. And Phil Jackson is not happy despite the lead. It is down to 12 with a lot of time remaining. Dutch boy in the paint. Kemp and Pippen. Pippen outscoring Kemp by 10. Kemp doing the number off the boards, but the point in the paint, and the Bulls with an 8-point edge there. Well, is this the tease that we've seen so many times here in the fourth quarter, or are the Sonics ready to make a serious run? Jackson's timeout. Jason Caffey, the rookie, in the game now. 8 on the shot clock. Simpkins with it. With Kerr and Jordan. Jordan!
Most every other team would not have that bailer. He gets the ball, curls, and takes it all the way to the basket. Most clubs would be struggling to get off a long outside shot.
27 for Jordan, 27 for Pippen, who right now is on the bench. Burkowski hits the hook shot, and again it's down to 12 with 9.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Seattle coming in with the best record in the Western Conference of 23-9. The Bulls only 3 losses, trying to avenge the third team that beat them earlier in the year. It was Indiana and Orlando. Now they can see what they do against Seattle. Looks like Michael wants to handle it on his own here in the final quarter.
He's a little off balance. I thought that is a desperation shot. He makes that one.
29 for Michael Jordan, leading the league at 30.3, and Burkowski took that extra step.
Jeff Russler returns for the Chicago Bulls.
Scottie Pippen.
Replacing Tony Kukoc.
Looks as though he jammed either his thumb or forefinger on that last play.
Judd Buechler has replaced Tony Kukoc. Buechler in for the first time tonight. We're going to get a report on the hand injury as Buechler throws it away, looking for Simpkins down low.
And Phil Jackson goes down to the bench to talk to Kukoc, who did not get a lot of minutes. He now has Kukoc and Pippen on the bench, and Jordan's carrying the majority of the load right now. Rodman's been ejected.
Hawkins fouled going to the hoop. So it's Jordan's game. Kukoc has scored only 2 points. And we saw instances tonight where Scottie Pippen discussing things with Kukoc as they came up court after a foiled offensive sequence. Here's Hersey Hawkins, 89% free throw shooter, who has 9 tonight. Below his season's average. Makes the first. Let's go over to Craig.
Scottie Pippen jammed his finger, but he said he's ready to come back in. And as you can see right now, he said the same thing to Phil Jackson. And he's back in the lineup right now. So nothing serious with Scottie. One goes.
Okay, Craig, thank you very much. 27 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists and 3 steals. A fine all-around game for Scottie. Hawkins makes the free throws. Again, it's a 12-point game. 8.5 remaining. Here's Kerr. Leaves it for Buechler. Buechler, who is 9 for his last 13 from the field in the last 3 games. Gives the Bulls a 14-point lead.
How about 47% three-point range?
Ian Kerr, poison coming off the bench for the opposition. Knocked away by Jordan, saved by Kemp. Plenty of time on the clock, 9. Askew working against Buechler. Leaves it for Payton, who misses. That was not a good pass to Payton in the corner. A little high. Sometimes you want those passes to be precise so that the shooter can be in rhythm. That wasn't the case on that last instance. Pippen with 10 on the clock, working against Burkowski. Jordan trying to rid himself from Payton. And with 3 seconds on the clock, Pippen in and out. Rebound Kemp as he missed the 3. He's got 5 of them tonight, this Scotty. Payton, and the offensive foul called against Gary Payton. That'll be his 4th.
Pippen seen the play all the way. Got that great position. You can judge it, but look right here. Oh, he's standing still. Hits him from the side, but it's still offensive foul.
Well, the Sonics got it down to 12 as Payton now with 4 fouls. And the Bulls have come back. Going right around Hawkins is Jordan, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. And Michael Jordan now can exceed his season's average if he connects on these free throws.
There's George Dalton talking about spacing minutes. Jordan just takes it baseline. Kemp blocks a shot, fouls him, but Kemp had a lot to say, not to Jordan, but to his teammates after that play. You can't give him that kind of a lane. You've got to stay in front of him and try to make it difficult for him.
Well, he has flashed inside for some easy jams and lay-ins tonight.
And those people who are saying, well, he's not quite the same player, I beg to differ.
Well, when you look at the leading scores of the NBA in the first game, it's a pretty good indication. Same player, right?
I'll take him if he's not, right? 91-76. Jordan with 30. Knocks it out of bounds. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Sam Perkins will come back in along with Nate McMillan, the Sonics liner.
You know, the Bulls look to me like they changed their defensive philosophy in the second half. They were playing Kemp pretty much straight up the first half, maybe coming from the top. This half, he can't get a look. They're almost double-teaming him every time before and after he gets the ball.
Kemp went out with 17. Askew feeding Hawkins. Simpkins coming out to meet him with under 7 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Burkowski pushed by Dickie Simpkins. That is only the 2nd team foul against the Bulls.
So often when you catch the ball on the baseline, that you can make that kind of move, the player will put out his hand rather than moving his feet to try to stop you.
Perkins hits his 2nd from downtown. So tonight, 7 shots from 3-point territory for the Sonics. Pippen has 5 for 1 for Chicago. Bushler into the corner, Simpkins. And Jordan working against McMillan with a fake, goes up and hits. 32 down for Michael Jordan. And Jordan has gone 30 or more in 8 of his last 11 games.
Most of those are 3 and 4 days rest. He jumps from 27-29 to 34 when he has that kind of rest. Here's an example. Days rest none. He averages 29. 1, 29, 2, 29. 3 days rest. Look out. He's going to get 34.
3-second violation, and the Bulls with the ball and the substantial lead, 93-79. Wind down to halfway remaining. 6 minutes in this 4th quarter. Simpkins, and it's knocked away by Hawkins. I'm impressed, even though the Sonics are being beaten here in Chicago as everyone else has been, with their defensive play at times. Missing the layup is Askew.
Great hands. They rotate well. They've got good individual defensive players, but you still got to score the ball.
That's where Detlef Schrempf will come in handy. Tipped up and in by Simpkins. Detlef Schrempf, as you know, suffered a broken leg, and talking to George Karl today, he says it may be until after the All-Star break till he gets it back.
Yeah, it might even be longer. They've got a little concern that the tendons in the back, the bone will heal fine. The tendon part of it, they're a little concerned about it. They're hopeful, but I think definitely they'll hold him out until after the All-Star break.
Great feed from Jordan to Pippen. And Scotty will go to the line. The Bulls are having a grand time of it tonight against the Sonics.
Jordan looks for penetration. No matchup on Pippen. Burkowski hammers him.
Timeout. 5:15 remaining.
tires are flying at Pep Boys because right now you can get a...
Back to United Center, Michael Jordan with 32 points and 14 rebounds. The Bulls are up by 16. Earlier this week, Michael Jordan had a excused absence from practice. It was reported that it had something to do with the murder trial and the death of his father. However, reports in the paper tomorrow are going to say that it has to do with a lawsuit involving the movie A Heaven is a Playground. Apparently, Michael agreed to be in that movie. He and his agent, David Falk, are allegedly being sued for $28 million after he reportedly backed out. The role was later taken by Bo Kimball. But despite all the distractions, a great game for Michael tonight.
What's that?
Pippen makes both free throws, and the score is 97-79 Chicago. 29 points for Scottie Pippen. Craig pointed out Jordan with 32 points and 14 rebounds, and that's a season's high for Michael off the boards. Hersey Hawkins harassed by Kerr. Gets it back from Perkins with 5 on the shot clock, and Pippen reaching in, and they're going to call Scottie with a personal foul.
Scottie Pippen is first. The team's third. Gary Payton's on.
Here's Chicago, 18 points up. Watch it. Kerr working the ball. Pippen stepping out. Watch the defense. Look at the weak side. Look at the weak side already. Now they're working the double team. That's why you have a hard time scoring against this club.
Well, the tandem of Kemp and Payton have been outscored by Jordan and Pippen by 34 points in this game. That gives the Sonics very little chance to hang in there against this club. Sam Perkins misses the three-point attempt, and Pippen the rebound as we get down to 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and the Bulls are riding home free tonight.
We've talked about it before. They come down, run their offense, and then end up Jordan or Pippen will take over the game, and you have problems against the Chicago Bulls. Their record is for real.
And a miss. 35 points for Michael Jordan. Kerr goes for 3, and he hits. That's his second of the night. Double figures tonight for Steve Kerr. One of the sharpshooters in the NBA from downtown. Askew feeds Hersey Hawkins, and he's fouled hard.
George Karl saying, I'm clearing my bench.
And as they come in, let's check the final scores. The Celtics defeated the Sacramento Kings with a big fourth quarter tonight. The New Jersey Nets with a shocker over the New York Knicks, 92-79. When you coached them, it was not a shocker. Washington over Philadelphia, 98-93. Rasheed Wallace with a career-high 22 points for the Bullets. And a homecoming here for Sherelle Ford, who played at Illinois Chicago and was the Midwestern Collegiate Conference Player of the Year last year. Fourth leading scorer in the country at nearly 23 a game. It's got to be a big thrill for him to be playing here at the United Center.
Yeah, particularly in this building, and you know, having grown up here, I'm sure about 20 tickets he had to get ready for tonight.
Also into the game, Eric Snow, the rookie from Michigan State. Steve Scheffler, who played at Purdue, 6-year veteran, has come in. Simpkins misses, and Bushler gets the rebound. Jason Caffey fouled by Scheffler, and he'll go to the line, and Wingate will come in for Seattle. Well, the Sonics gave it a run. They got it down to 12 points here in the fourth quarter, and then the Bulls went to work and sealed their fate, and so the Chicago Bulls continue to roll in the NBA. But I see a lot of things that I like about the Sonics, even in defeat tonight. I'm sure you do.
Yeah, they don't have the record that they have without you know, having a good club and a good plan and good coaching. The problem is, if you're going to play the Bulls and they have 3 or 4 days to prepare, as good as they are, you've got a serious problem.
Nonetheless, the Sonics have to be considered one of the factors to emerge in what is a compact Western Conference fight, Chuck. You know, in the East, Orlando and Chicago are the kingpins. Here is Wingate going the lane with 5 on the shot clock, and Scheffler hits. But out west, it's a battle royal.
Yeah, I see Utah, San Antonio, Houston, Seattle, all clubs capable of coming out of the West. LA came to the playoffs last year and played extremely well. So there are some teams. There's a way to come out of there. You can come out with and get to the finals easier, I think, than you could in the past.
Jordan on the bench with a great night's work, 35 points and a career high of 14. Season's high, I should say, of 14 rebounds. Randy Brown seeing action against Eric Snow as both teams have emptied their benches. You know what, the NBA playoffs are a lot more intriguing now than they used to be because of matchups in the early rounds, and you can see a lot of surprises. You didn't see that many years.
Yeah, we've seen, the good teams usually hold serve, but occasionally there is a club that Seattle's a perfect example, has got knocked off 2 years in a row.
Simpkins on Cappy's miss, and Brown hits.
I think they call it parity, and that's what we strive for, right?
It's worked in every sport, but you know, with parity, you got the Chicago Bulls, who some say maybe eventually turn out to be the best team of all time, and that's not something we're going to know until the final chapter's written.
Well, there's a lot more scheduling to do, and they're going to have to go on the road January, February, and play a string of games. Fatigue will enter into it later in the year, and we'll wait and see. Michael Jordan says it best. He says, we haven't proven anything yet.
Houston Rockets still the defending champions in the league. 105-85. Scheffler scored that last basket. And taking a hard hit is Steve Kerr. And you never know about injuries. Little hand injuries. Look what happened to some of the top players in the league, like Drexler and Detlef Schrempf.
Kerr came around with the dribble, kind of threw himself here himself, and he actually initiated the contact, drew the foul, but almost hurt himself in the process.
Kerr is all right. This is the three, and Irvin Johnson clears with a minute and a half remaining. Chicago Bulls will go 18-0. A perfect home record continues as Pippen and Jordan discuss a successful night. Now this is surprising. Most wins the last 3 years. Did you ever think the Sonics would lead the parade?
No, but they've done, you know, the 60-plus seasons they had, but the shocker's been the playoffs.
Five on the shot clock. Wingate fires it up and misses Simpkins the rebound. You know, Chuck, you were talking about how the Bulls have had the luxury of several days rest, but it's going to get a little tougher now because they have 15 games in the next 26 days, including 11 of them away from the United Center. Kukoc hits the basket and draws the foul.
I think the opposition is such, though, that they'll handle the win part of it, but the fatigue factor will come later on against better clubs.
Long night for the Sonics. Kemp with 17. Payton never got into it with 8 and 36% shooting. That's no way to beat the Chicago Bulls. Under a minute remaining. Chicago will go to 29-3. Seattle will drop to 23-10. Irvin Johnson over Simpkins. And Jason Cappy with the rebound. Simpkins releasing, but Johnson got back nicely. Eric Snow, George Karl thinks Eric Snow's going to be a player in this league. Played with Sean Resford in the same backcourt at Michigan State. Meanwhile, Sherrell Ford gets a basket on his return to the Windy City.
The problem with those guys is they're, you know, they come off the bench, get a little time here, but they're not going to get a lot of time during the year. And for a player to develop, he needs minutes.
Kukoc with a three. He'll end up with 8 points, but didn't give the Bulls what they wanted early on. That was one of the few negatives that the Bulls can talk about tonight.
They've got to search and search to find.
Let's
find something negative.
385.
Yeah, right.
Here's one, right?
Then we threw that pass away in the fourth quarter when we were up 22.
Hey, when you got a shot at 70, I guess that's what it comes down to. Looking for the little things and nitpicking. Randy Brown with a big shot. And Snow misses at the buzzer. So a big night for the Chicago Bulls as they have now avenged the 3 defeats that they have suffered this year. They defeated the Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers, and tonight the Chicago Bulls defeat the Seattle Sonics by a score of 113-87. And let's send you out on the floor to Craig Sager.
Michael talking to his North Carolina teammate Sam Perkins. Michael, obviously a great game. 14 rebounds. That's the season high. The legs are there.
Well, Dennis wasn't rebounding, so I figured I had to go in there and
and kind of help him out a little bit. And I think we played a better second half than what we did out in Seattle.
Nobody expects this team to ever lose a game. What challenge is it for you guys to finish with the best record in history?
Well, our challenge is to just try to be the best team that we can be. I mean, no matter who we face, we just want to come out and play our style of game and control the game, control the tempo, and just continue to improve and play a complete 48-minute basketball game.
All right, thanks, Mike. Let's go from one MVP to the other. Let's go to Scottie Pippen, who's now with Dick and Chuck.
All right, and we'll have Scotty with us, getting his breath right now, and we'll be back with the Scotsman after this break.